The Cleveland Browns were supposed to be settling into a new era, finally moving past the constant quarterback circus that had defined them for years. For once, there was a spark of momentum, a new identity, something real for fans to hold on to. But that spark didn't just catch fire. It exploded into one of the wildest quarterback controversies the NFL has seen in years. Because just when the Browns thought they'd found their future, the past walked straight back into the building like it never left. It all starts with a rookie with swagger, with expectations, with eyes on him from the moment he stepped off the plane. Shadur Sanders didn't slide quietly into the NFL. He arrived to a franchise starving for stability, starving for a leader, starving for something that looked like hope. And almost instantly, he became the one thing Cleveland hasn't had since. Who even knows when? A quarterback the entire city actually believed in. He didn't just replace the starter, he rewired the mood. Suddenly, the offense had juice again. The playbook felt bigger, more alive, more dangerous. The stadium wasn't sitting in silence waiting for something bad to happen. They were leaning forward. When Sanders had the ball, people paid attention. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't polished, but it was electric. And in Cleveland, electric counts for a lot. But while Sanders was turning heads and changing minds, something else was brewing. Something heavier. Something nobody wanted to talk about but everybody felt. A contract. A massive, franchise-altering, fully guaranteed contract that never stopped casting its shadow over the entire organization. And the moment Sanders started shining, that shadow felt bigger than ever, because that contract belonged to Deshaun Watson. And even though Watson had been sidelined, even though he wasn't taking snaps, even though the team was learning how to function without him, everyone knew the truth. One day, he'd walk back through those doors. And when he did, the entire city would hold its breath. That day came sooner than anyone expected. Quietly, without fireworks or cameras, Watson's practice window opened. He was officially cleared to start working his way back. And with that simple update, the entire quarterback room flipped upside down. Players felt the shift instantly. Coaches felt the pressure tighten. Reporters circled the facility like sharks smelling blood in the water. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone was thinking the same thing. What happens now? On one side, you've got a rookie who's lighting up the offense and winning over the city. A kid who looks confident, controlled, and completely unbothered by the chaos around him. Sanders was playing like someone who belonged. Somebody who didn't just want the job, he wanted the responsibility. On the other side, you've got a former Pro Bowl quarterback with an enormous financial commitment tied to his name. A player who was once considered a future MVP candidate, but whose time in Cleveland has been rocky, inconsistent, and weighed down by outside drama and heavy expectations. A player the Browns front office invested more money in than any team had ever invested in a quarterback before. 2 quarterbacks, 2 futures, 1 franchise stuck in the middle, and now they had to choose. The tension in the building didn't simmer, it boiled. Teammates suddenly found themselves answering questions they didn't want to touch. Which quarterback gives the team the best chance to win? Who should they be building chemistry with? Who should they trust in the huddle? Nobody wanted to stir the pot, but the pot was already spilling over. And then came the moment that sent NFL media into a frenzy. Sanders finally spoke. Reporters asked him directly about Watson returning to practice. They brought up the quarterback competition. They asked how he felt about a veteran possibly coming back for his job. And Sanders, cool as ever, delivered a response that was respectful, polished, but sharper than people realized. He praised Watson's work ethic, said it was good to have him back, said he knew Watson had been grinding to return to the field. On the surface, it sounded like exactly what any teammate would say in that situation. But beneath the surface, there was a message. It wasn't loud, it wasn't cocky, but it was clear. He wasn't worried, he wasn't rattled, and he certainly wasn't stepping aside. You could hear it between every line. Sanders wasn't playing the role of a rookie who's afraid of being benched. He was carrying himself like the quarterback the team should be building around. Like someone who believed he'd earned the job through performance, not politics. Someone who wasn't interested in giving back the keys he'd just been handed. That confidence, it spreads. The locker room feels it, the fan base feels it, and Watson definitely feels it. Because think about what this means for Watson. Once, he was one of the most dynamic core. Nobody expected Cleveland's quarterback story to twist this fast. And nobody expected the leak, the one that hit social media before the team could even react, to flip the entire conversation on its head. All week long, the narrative was easy, predictable, and honestly lazy. After the disaster against the 49ers, every talking head repeated the same script. Shadur Sanders is falling behind. He's not ready. He needs more time. Fans bought it. Media pushed it. Even some players in the locker room wondered if the rookie hype train finally slowed down. But inside the building, inside those walls where no camera crews roam and no outsider noise survives, a completely different story was unfolding. And the people who saw it firsthand knew the truth was about to punch its way into the open, whether the team wanted it or not. Because while the outside world tore him apart for one bad game, Shadur didn't sit around sulking. He didn't shrink. He didn't flinch. Instead, he walked into practice with the kind of look veterans recognize immediately, the look of a quarterback who's about to take all that criticism and turn it into fuel hot enough to melt steel. The aftermath of the 49ers game was supposed to crush him. It did the opposite. It lit something behind his eyes. The pressure was suffocating, the noise non-stop. But every time he stepped onto that practice field, the energy shifted. You could feel it. He wasn't folding. He was leveling up. And then Brown's offensive coordinator Tommy Rees finally broke the silence. One interview, one answer. And the tone around Shadur flipped instantly. Rees didn't just defend him. He praised him in a way that sounded less like coach speak and more like a subtle warning to anyone doubting the rookie. He said Shadur was operating cleaner, more decisive, more commanding, more comfortable controlling the offense. That wasn't a compliment. That was a message. A message that the rookie everyone thought was trailing wasn't trailing anymore. It didn't stop there. Reports started slipping out, the kind of whispers that always seemed